There's been a lot of speculation about what the new Nissan 400Z will look like, but none of the renders have really caught my attention until now. Welcome back to the channel, it's TheSketchMonkey here. The 400Z is set to go on sale early next year, and there are several wild renderings out there on the design, some very interesting styling features and almost cartoon-like proportions. Wild ideas that could possibly be cool to see come to life, but not as a new Nissan Z, and especially not as an homage to the legendary 240Z. The 240Z is a timeless beauty. It looked gorgeous in the 60s, it looks gorgeous today, and it's going to look even better 50 years from now. It also looks amazing on a t-shirt such as this high quality print of my 240Z painting right here, which you should totally go and get. Link in the description. Its body is built up by just a few lines, but those lines all matter. That's the problem with most of these speculative renders. We know the final product won't look anywhere near like them based on the official teaser that Nissan released a few weeks back. However, there are a few of these renders that could very well be extremely close to what the Nissan 400Z will actually look like. And there's recently been a photo floating around on some Vietnamese forums of a yellow 400Z in a Japanese print magazine. And this photo seems to show a 400Z parked on what looks like a dealer parking lot. If it's real or not, that is up to you to decide. What I'm going to do though is show you these renders I think that are closest to the real thing, and then show you this mysterious yellow Z and let you know what I think about it and if it's a legit leaked photo of the actual car or just another rendering. And to be honest, I kind of hope that it's not the real car, because at the end of this video I'm going to have to do some redesigning on it, since there are a few issues with the design that definitely needs to be addressed. With that said, let's jump into Photoshop and let me show you what renders I'm talking about. Alright, so let's start with this render from Car and Driver. I'm gonna walk you through all the renders that are my favorites and talk about what I like about them. So this was a pretty early render, but what we know, as we know right now, this is not how the front end is going to look, because we had a teaser image show us that the front headlights are actually going to be rounded like that, which I definitely prefer because it brings back the 240, some 240 vibes instead of having it something like this. It's a cool looking render. However, the key thing among all of these renders that I'm looking for is mostly focused on the rear end, because it needs to have that sloping line that's a 240Z line that just ends with almost a horizontal vertical line like this that marks the end of the roof line, and then you have the classic rectangular graphical rear lights on top of that panel. But this seems like it does have one of these traditional looking, you know, Jaguar or Aston Martin hips, which is the rear fender, which goes a little bit like that, and you can see it in the side view. This is probably going to create a bit of a hump that is not really true to the 240Z. So let's have a look at next one. This, to me, this is from Future Cars Now, and this to me seems like it's based on the Jaguar F-Type, and it looks pretty okay. You see that they have the round headlights here, which could be something close to what the production model is going to look like, but I'm not a fan of these sharp edges here in the front. I hope this is not what it's going to look like, because it doesn't look, it lacks harmony in the front. It doesn't flow well with the rest of the design. You can see we have a lot of angles here, or sharp corners, and then you don't have any sharp corners on the rest of the whole body. It's very bubbly here and very smooth. It almost looks a little bit bloated, this design. So this is a cool looking car, but it's not going to be what the production model is going to look like. This is a rear view render that I found from Car Expert, and as you know, I'm a big fan of framing the rear of cars, and this is a nice looking frame here. However, will it fit on a 240 or 400Z, which is supposed to be an homage to the 240Z? not so sure in that department. I think this goes too far. This is too tall. If they wanted to frame it like this, I think we should have stopped it somewhere around here and have this part be, you know, angled down, and that gives it a more chiseled rear end instead of having it be almost like a wall where all of this graphic sits. Other than that, I think this part right here is based on a 370Z. That's what it looks like on this render. This, of course, is from the teaser image where you have the chrome strip, the chrome trim piece right there that goes down following the roofline, which is something I really like for the simple reason that that little trim piece is emphasizing one of the key lines from the 240Z, and I really like that little detail. A cool looking render. This might be what the final design of the rear lights could look like, because again, if you look at the teaser video, you see that it's 2 light bars like that, so this could very well be very close to what the production model will look like. And this is another one from Car and Driver, and I'm not really a fan of this as a Z car, and the same goes for the first concept that I show you from Car and Driver. We don't have that. This looks almost like an Aston Martin in this area right here. So this piece right here, I'm going to show you another render in just a minute here that has what I'm talking about, that this is lacking. But this roofline here on a Z needs to go straight down like this, all the way down. You can't have this dip here, because then it becomes just another sporty rear-wheel drive 2-seater coupe. And we need to have that specific Z line in the roofline. And as we know here again, this is not what the front headlights are going to look like based on the teaser image. I'm not really a fan of this massive graphic cut in the side of the car. It's not suitable for the Z, in my opinion. The Z is supposed to have tops 3 key lines that define the shape of the car. So you're supposed to be able to sketch the side view of a Z with just using 3 lines: the roof line, the shoulder line, and the bottom line, and then the base line. Then you put out the wheelbase, of course. But this has some nice line flow to it. If you follow this line right here, it goes in and then creates this graphics right here. So the line flow is there. It's a cool looking car, but not a Z car. This concept or render from Motor 1 is what I'm talking about before, where we have the classic Z-shape roofline, which just dips straight down and never goes back up like this. That is the key line for the Z, as I said before, and that has to be on the new model as well. And this actually looks like it could be very close to what the production model would look like. However, what I would like to see in this car here is I want to have this part here, I want it to be even lower than this. I think the rear, it kind of sits a little bit too high for my taste. And also, I think the whole body, the greenhouse here, I want, if possible, and this is something that you as a designer would have to argue with the engineers, but if it was possible, I would love to have the greenhouse here just move the A-pillar back and have it start somewhere here, maybe a couple of inches back, just to give that long hood that we have on the 240Z, and maybe even implement some wings here where the light sits in to have it be even more retro, so we create some waviness here in the front of the hood and not have it just be flat like this. Some details, but I really like this render, and this could very well be very close to what the final production 400Z might look like. And then we have some very experimental design proposals for what the 400Z might look like. I just want to bring this up because I think it looks really cool. However, we know now for sure this is not nowhere near what the Z might look like. This might be like a 2028 450Z or something like that, all electric or something like that. I like the styling of this because you really have that key line here dropping down almost like a separate piece on the car, which emphasizes that line even more than just having a trim piece of chrome that goes down there. So it's a really cool concept that I just wanted to show you. And look at this integrated ducktail here. It's very modular, this design. It looks like you can take pieces off and add whatever you want on it. It's a cool design, nowhere near what the production model might look like. Just wanted to show you this because it's a fascinating shape. This is not the yellow leak I was talking about, but this actually looks like a photograph in a print magazine. I have no idea where it came from. It says WAP car up there. I'm not sure what that is, but this looks weirdly real to me. However, I didn't see any, you know, two-tone colors or any vents like this on the teaser image, and that's what makes me kind of confused here if this is a real car or just another rendering. And same thing here, I just want this line to continue to dip in there and not have this part in the back be all bubbly. I want to have a more defined, almost horizontal rear end for the rear graphics, just like we have on the 240Z. And if this is the real car, that's something that I would definitely redesign and have this be more upright than have it this angle right here, if that makes sense. But for the graphics of the car, this as well could be close to what the production model might look like, because we didn't really see any of the rear in the teaser video, so this could make sense in the rear for the graphics. 3 exhausts down there, not really a fan of that. I would rather have one exhaust right here and one at the other side, or just one on one side like the original 240Z. Why not? But what I'm gonna do now is show you the yellow mystery leaked image that was sent to me on Instagram from several of you, so thank you for that. We're gonna talk about that, and then I'm going to redesign the rear of it, because we're gonna focus on the rear of this leaked image here and tell you what I think about it. So this is it right here. This is the leaked orange or yellow 400Z from a Vietnamese car forum that was sent to me on Instagram, and I think this is the one that looks very close to the production, what I think the production version is going to look like, and I honestly think it looks really good, specifically here in the front. So let's have a look at that right about here. This is the front view compared to the original 240Z, and it looks good. Still, same thing here. I wish they moved back the greenhouse, so we have this distance here being similar length to the original 240Z. So move back the greenhouse and have the A-pillar start somewhere around here would, in my opinion, be a lot cooler and would probably anger a lot of engineers, because they would say this is not possible in modern cars. But if I could do whatever I wanted, that's one of the changes I wanted to make. And also, if this turns out to be the production version of the 400Z, it looks okay. There's just a few things that I would like to change on the rear view of this leaked image here. And that is, it looks too high. I think that the rear end of this car sits too high, specifically this part right here. I want to bring that down, and you can see that it still has an angle here. So what I want to do now is just touch up this little rear view here, which is in very, very bad resolution, but that's the only resolution I could get it in, and try to redesign this more into the original 240Z, but of course keeping all the modern features on here. And I also not a real fan of this graphic that it goes down like this. I would rather have it cut straight to the wheel like that, because that would resemble at least this bumper on the original 240Z. In my opinion, if you're gonna make an homage to the 240Z, you might as well use all the details you can and make it look like the original in every way possible. And this is one of these details that you definitely could change to create something like that to resemble the bumper. So I'm gonna leave you with that. I'm gonna go into the redesign now. It's going to be a very quick one. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know what you think about this yellow leaked, supposedly image of the 400Z. Are you a fan of it? Do you agree with the rear end sitting a little too high, or do you like it as it is? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm TheSketchMonkey. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.